Hi there, and thank you so much for joining me again. In today's video, I want to show you how this little onboard mic combined with the new MPC workflow has been really motivating me to push my own limits as a musician and allowed me to tackle increasingly more difficult projects like the one I'm about to do today. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous and I'm not entirely sure that I'll be able to pull it off, but I will be doing my best. I'm gonna be making a cover of one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard. Bon Iver's Holocene. If you don't know Bon Iver, this is a dude that, after going through a particularly rough time in his life, decided to retreat into an isolated cabin in the woods, armed with a microphone, guitars, and a few plugins, only to emerge 3 months later with an absolute masterpiece of an album called For Emma Forever Ago. Now what's really interesting about that album, and Holocene in particular, is its mixture of complex yet minimalistic orchestration and raw sampling and recordings, making for a surprisingly intimate and heartfelt vibe. Now keeping with that same spirit, I'm going to start this off by making a little drum kit made out of claps, clicks, guitar percussions, stuff that we can record in the internal mic to keep that organic sounding feel. Okay, so I'm gonna make a new track, which is gonna be a drum program. I'm gonna go into my input and select the mic, and I wanna link this so it's only one. There we go, nice. And now I'm gonna go into my sampler. Now, I usually like to do this in one whole take, and then I'll just choose my slices. Let's grab a guitar, and let's start percussing. That's not going to make the cut. When you're creating these kind of kits, remember to, switch up your hand positions, try different materials, get really experimental. That way you get a very varied pool of sounds from which to choose from. Okay, so now I'm going to pick my sample, going to go into the sampler edit, and let's start making some slices. Lazy Chop is one of the best inventions ever. And let's see. Of course, MPC started its life as a sampler, so this is easy work for the MPC. Next up is I'm going to convert this into a new drum track, and boom. Okay, now that we have that, I'm going to record the main guitar part and then the bass. Now, on the original song, it seems that Bon Iver changed the tuning and also replaced the string on his guitar to make it possible to play this riff, one-handed. Now, on YouTube, I saw a bunch of tutorials showing different ways to play it, but they were either too convoluted or too difficult for me to pull off at my level of guitar playing. Thankfully, I'm using an MPC, so I do have a few workarounds. The MPC has an amazingly useful tool for learning songs, which is stem separation, where you can divide the tracks into bass, guitar parts, pianos, drums, etc. Here, I've used it to isolate the guitar and the bass line, so I can study it and learn it well enough to do my own little take when we do this recording. Okay, so I'm going to get very guitar-y today, and I'm going to be using a capo. So I'm going to go into new track, audio. I'm going to select a clip, no fixed recording length, and let's do this. Now, I know most people only think of stem separation as a sampling tool, but me personally, I love that I can isolate individual tracks and use them to learn different melodies and riffs, because there's nothing quite as satisfying as learning to do something that seemed impossible just a few weeks ago. If you're looking to up your own game by learning something new, Skillshare can help you make it happen. Skillshare offers you multiple classes in varied subjects and covers everything from content creation to business management and beyond. Best part of it is the classes themselves are taught by actual experts, world-class creatives, and people who are at the top of their game in each of their respective fields. I've personally been using Skillshare for years now, and it's helped me to learn everything from music production to video editing. And now I'm currently using it to learn how to make art using Procreate on my iPad. On Skillshare, I was able to find a teacher that spoke to me in a way that made things actually make sense. And each class is divided up into easy to digest subsections that can even be sped up or slowed down to match your own learning rhythm and adjust them to your very, very busy schedule. As you've probably figured out by now, just watching tutorials isn't enough to actually learn a new skill. And that's why Skillshare classes have projects for you to complete and actually see your progress as you move forward. If you're on the fence of whether or not Skillshare is for you and would like a chance to try it out, I have great news. The first 500 people to use my link in the description or scan the QR code will receive 1 month free trial of Skillshare plus 20% off on their first payment. Get started today. Thank you Skillshare for sponsoring this video. As always, I'm going to double up the guitar part, so let's press duplicate that track and let's record this thing in. Okay, so now we have 2 takes, and in the mixer I'm gonna pan these out. Nice. Okay, so now I made a mistake because this part over here is not supposed to be here. This note does not exist. So let's see if we can edit that out. Let's cut it here and erase that. And I'm gonna cut here and I'm gonna move this over here. Do edit start. Okay, let's see if it works. Nice. We saved it. You know what? I'm gonna do another take right down the middle, but I'm gonna slide because I love this slide sound, and this microphone is really sensitive, so it picks up all those little details. So now I'm going to start recording the bass, which for some reason is always very enjoyable and relaxing for me. But this song in the original has some very, very cool riffs that I wanted to try and include, but honestly, I had a shoulder accident a year ago and my finger speed and accuracy just isn't there yet. Listen to this. It's like... Yeah, it's not gonna happen, so I'm gonna keep it fairly simple. It's coming along nicely. Okay, so we pretty much have the structure going, and now I'm gonna look for some ear candy and embellishment to sprinkle around as the track progresses. Let's see what we can find in our handy dandy plugins. Let's see, plugins. I think I'm gonna go for the Sway by Native Instruments. It has some very interesting things in there. Cold piano, whoa, nice, let's see. I wonder if Jura might work in here. Let's see. Okay, that's... Okay, I think we're pretty much done with all the instrumental. We're gonna go full circle. Remember that drum track that we made? Well, let's see what happens if we do. Oh, this is so cool. I was actually very worried that I wouldn't be able to do this. On the original track, there's this percussion. It sounds very much like this. And I kind of ran into it by accident, so let's overdub it. Just so you know what I'm doing, I latched the note repeat, and since these are very sensitive, I can accentuate it by pressing down with aftertouch effect. Now, I want to go into my trap kit, and I want to replace this baby with another sound, which makes use of the expressive kit. Let's see, these pads are XY pads. And let's go for it. Okay, so I think we pretty much have it as far as instruments and percussion. So finally, it's time to record the vocals. Now, Bon Iver has a very high-pitched tone, and though I think I can reach it, it's gonna be pretty rough to keep it in tune. Now, MPC does have an auto-tune, but I'm not a big fan of auto-tune in vocals, mainly because shaving off those imperfections on the voice, I find kills the emotion and the humanity of the performance. So I'm just gonna have maybe a backing vocal with a bit of auto-tune so I have like a foundation so it doesn't sound all out of whack. Now, before I sing you out, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful or at least entertaining. Have a great week. I'll see you next time.
Some way, baby, it's part of me, apart from me. You're laying waste to Halloween. Mystic friend, it's sorted sand, it's stuck the street. You're in Milwaukee off your feet. And once I knew I was not magnificent. Straight above the highway. was where we learned to celebrate. Automatic bought the years you took from me. The night you played me that parade. Not the needle nor the thread that lost